Hello, beautiful people. I thought we would play with pastels. So these are the soft pastels that are water soluble, and then I have the oil pastels here. These are Sennielier brand, and these are Mungyo. And then I'm going to use this. I've been enjoying this mixed media paper. It's very heavy cardstock, and it's toned gray, so it adds some dimension. So let me make sure you can see. Okay. And we're gonna have to do the soft pastels first because not much goes on top of the oil pastels. And I'm just gonna do color and, you know, see where we sort of an abstract, something focused on color and texture. And these are so beautiful. Look at those colors. The vibrancy of these colors is incredible. You can go online and learn about how they were made, but they were made, I guess, for Degas, who wanted some really intense color, and made in France. So let's play with just getting down some color. And they're powdery, but we'll rub them in, and I haven't tried them yet on this toned gray paper. Look at that color. They're creamy and also powdery. These two colors seem really similar, almost identical. And yeah, I did learn about this. Do you hear the sound on that one? Their softness is different because they're made based on the pigment that's available. So some of them are harder, like that blue is much harder than this chalky white, which was very soft. Yeah, it's kind of blending away to nothing. So I notice when I rub them away a little bit, the intensity of the color goes down, which makes sense. Let's see. Oh, look at that. Beauteous. And this one's really creamy and powdery. I'm blending a white over it. See how this toned gray paper gives like a instant dimension? What shall we do? Some of them almost feel, you know, like a creamy sensation, but that blue was really much harder. Oh, this will be pretty. Oh, this one is too. Do you hear that? You can hear the difference. It's more scrapey. But what a color, huh? Holy cow. For intensity, these are tough to beat. Now, you know, there's a lot of powder, like, look at that. So one thing we can do, we could spray a fixative now, like Spectrafix. And once it dried, we could keep working. But I want to try using water. Where did my water go? Oh, shoot. I always have water here. I must have left it at the sink. Stand by. Oh, for the love of God. It's at the kitchen sink. Sorry. Let me pause. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back with the water. That's what I get for starting a video without looking around. My table is so full of stuff right now. It's all happy stuff, but let's try making some of these more fixed with water. It does take down the intensity though, doesn't it? Of the color and the texture too a little bit. Turns them into paint essentially. And we can pick and choose. I wonder if once they dry, you know, you could go over again and get some of that intensity back, but then you'd have powder again. I think given how this looks, I'd rather have the powder and the intensity and spray. But it's kind of nice to mix them up. So really lovely things happening where they're mixing. I don't know if you can see this white that mixed with the blue. You can do so much blending. I'll bring some of the white down here too. So now I'm rubbing in some of the pastel into the, it's pretty much dry. The areas that I went over with the brush. So pretty. There's a really, you know, if you follow me, you know I love navy. And they actually have a navy indigo, which a lot of, you know, paint makers and pigment makers don't seem to have. Okay, look at that. So pretty. Let's see, now let's switch to oil and see what, and that's gonna sit really nicely on top of the pastel. And like I said, I can always spray a fix-it. I've just always been fascinated by the combination of orange and turquoise. It's something very, maybe it's sort of like jewel. I don't know. It just feels like something like a precious jewel. So the oil is blending really well with that, making a pretty green there. I just love the intensity of oil pastels. Look at that. It's like instant color plus texture all in one. Another one of my favorites is turquoise with pink. maybe turquoise with anything. But this pink is an unexpected surprise. I like doing that because it doesn't kind of fit maybe as well with the color, other colors. And I like having a spot of surprise like that. So we've got, let's see, let's clean this off. I'm really liking with this turquoise, and so I think I'm going to bring maybe a little more of that up here. And I can rub it in, which is kind of another way of fixing it. And Sennielier has their own paper. I think they call it pastel card, maybe. I haven't tried that. A little sample came with the box. I don't know what I did with it. It almost feels like sandpaper, but it apparently holds the pastels really well. And maybe that you don't even need a fixative. Might have to try that sometime. You know what I did earlier? I could not believe it. This is my second tutorial today. I did this great tutorial where I did all kinds of painting in my different sketchbooks and started a painting and finished a painting. I mean, I don't know, a lot. And then I, was done filming and I was getting ready to post it and it wasn't there. I don't know if I just didn't start recording, or if I started recording and I didn't have my phone on Do Not Disturb and somebody texted me and shut it off. I don't know what happened, but I was talking away like I am now with all kinds of tools and tips, and oh well, nobody was there. What are you gonna do, right? What I like about these is, I like how that's kind of scratchy there. So, you can pick and choose where you rub it in. And I also like how they're blending with each other. See what else we can do. It really pops there, doesn't it? That oil pastel on top of the, I kind of love that. Okay, let me try a botanical element. So it's interacting with this is the stuff that we wet in a really kind of yummy way. Kind of lifting it and blending with it at the same time. I have learned that when you're going to blend with your finger, just make sure you clean your finger a little bit, otherwise you end up with, you can make mud just based on the colors that are already in on your hands. kind of interesting, but it's not. I like what they are, but they're not showing up. So I'm gonna go around them with this really vibrant oil pastel. That's cool. Oh my gosh, look at that. This has to be the most beautiful color on the planet. Turquoise green. Look at that. Let's see. I think we're gonna have to go over these because they got lost and I like this color so much. See that texture? So I was reading about different ways to use fixative on this stuff, and I'm gonna try, so the Spectrafix that I showed you already, it's sort of working on, here's some sketchbook spreads that, see, I did earlier, and I sprayed this, and it actually, it is, yeah, it's not coming up anymore. I had to do several coats. I think that's the trick. But I also read about polyurethane, water-based polyacrylic, I think it's called. Okay. Now let's try some ink. Why not? And see what that does. I don't think it'll work on the really thick oil pastels, but we might be able to do something on the soft pastels. Let me find my river brush or my little liner and get some navy ink. And let's just see what this does. Yeah, that's what I thought. It works fine on the pastels, the soft pastels. Yeah, but as you start to get into oil pastel, it gets a little, it's still hitting, so it's randomly. Yeah, it's still soaking in, but not so much where the oil is, which has its own interesting effect. Might as well do a signature while I'm here. Okay, let's see, what did I got interrupted there, but I'm back. The other thing about using this media and this paper is, you notice, my paper's not all warped and, like watercolor paper gets, because I really haven't used much water. So that's kind of a nice change. So now I'm just deciding what I like and don't like. I don't really like this area here. What do I want to do with it? I think it needs to be quieter. So let me try taking this lighter thing and blending over. See what, look at that. You just blend colors so easily. Almost like I erased it. I don't want it to be too quiet. I feel like it needs some light, something light. I don't want to lose my orange. So it's orange on orange, the same orange, but just pressing harder. That's kind of cool. There's some parts of this over here that I like and some that I don't. I think maybe I don't want this competing with it. Yeah, I think that helped. And maybe I'll lighten this up a little bit more. All right, so we've got ink, oil pastels, soft pastels. What if we threw in some paint? So that, I just lost the color. Do you see that? I mean, it's sort of just blending in the blah. So let me try the soft pastel instead. Oh yeah, much better. Look at that creamy yumminess. Another gorgeous color. So the pastel goes fine on top of the oil, which is interesting because not much does. I'm going to carry this right off a page. And maybe bring a little bit of this green over here. Just thinking about moving the eye around. Right now my eye kind of gets hung up here, but that's probably because it's quieter and that's okay. But maybe if I lighten it up through here, it'll help bring the eye around. Oh, that's what I was gonna do. I was gonna do a signature. You know, when the phone call came in. I gotta get better at putting on my do not disturb. I want to try some paint, I think, just to be a little, or here's some ink. Let's look at this fluorescent ink that I got today. It's one of the things I showed a lot and did stuff with in my tutorial that was never recorded. Let's just see. Oh, that's pretty. I like how they're blending with the background and all the different media that I have. pink is pretty good at going over things. I really like that. See how they change color as I, you know, go over other colors? I like that. Oh, maybe that's what I can do over here that I'm not liking the color of these things. I liked the turquoise, I just didn't like that kind of muddy green that you couldn't really see. What else is calling to me? This is oil pastel, right? Yeah. I could just add some of they're really like chalk. You see those flakes that broke off? And, you know, back to that idea of orange on orange. Sometimes choosing to blend and sometimes not. Well, I don't know that there's much more I can do with it right now. So I think we'll call that, you know, done at this point, to be continued, to be revisited, to rest. But I think we did some cool things. Blending the pastels, soft pastels, oil pastels, and ink. Thanks for watching.